Micro Mod Arena is a multiplayer rebalance mod for Halo Reach on the PC. The design goes behind this mod were to first of all make the game play and perform better on the PC platform, next to overhaul and rebalance the entire weapon sandbox, and finally to improve the game for competitive play using classic arena shooters and Halo CE as inspiration. This mod has been in development ever since the game came out and is undergoing rigorous testing. This video will showcase all the changes that have been made in the mod, so let's get it started. First we will look at the changed player traits. Movement speed has been increased across the board. The forward moving speed of players now resembles something very close to the MLG or hardcore settings. The strafe movement and acceleration have been increased even more, which makes gunfights more engaging and more interesting. Jump height has been increased by 25% and the gravity doubled to make jumping less floaty. The airborne acceleration has been turned up to 200%, which gives players more control over their movement in the air. The Spartan's shields now recharge much faster. While the cooldown until the shields start charging is the same, the actual charging itself goes by much faster. Over shields charge even faster than that, charging in less than 2 seconds now. Aim assist has been reduced across the board for all weapons. This affects both the friction or slowdown of your reticle when you pass over an enemy, as well as the adhesion or reticle stickiness to enemies. On screen you can see a comparison between vanilla aim assist and the aim assist in our mod. When a player dies, their armor ability will no longer just vanish but instead be dropped on the floor. On that note, jetpack is the only armor ability found in this mod and has to be picked up from the map. All non-lethal falling damage has been removed, but players will still experience stun if they fall from extended heights. Ideally this would have been the other way around, but fall damage in this game is wildly inconsistent and also affects overshields disproportionately hard. Melee launch has been completely removed, but all weapons now have increased melee range to compensate for that. The new melee range is somewhere around 3.6 meters. Moving on, let's talk about the weapon sandbox. The goal with the weapon sandbox was to give each weapon its unique niche and to reduce overlap and redundancy within the sandbox. Much like Halo CE, every weapon on the map is powerful and spawns on a fast timer, but players spawn with a strong starting weapon to balance that out. Speaking of which, the pistol functions largely like its counterpart in Halo CE. It kills in 3 shots given the last shot is a headshot, or in 5 body shots. Alternatively, you can hit someone twice with a pistol and then finish them off with a beatdown. This weapon is not hit scan but uses projectiles, so at range you will have to lead ahead of your targets. Also, the weapon now carries 12 shots per magazine and the maximum ammo capacity was increased. While this weapon may come off as extremely strong for a starting weapon, the enhanced strafe and reduced magnetism makes it much harder to use, and it's not uncommon to see 2 players dueling each other to run out of ammo and have to switch to their assault rifles to finish off the kill. The changes to the assault rifle are as follows. Auto aim has been slightly reduced, it now carries 40 shots per magazine instead of 32, the rate of fire has been increased by 50%, and now has less initial spread and also less bloom, so it's overall more accurate, and finally the damage has been increased. This weapon is your trusty secondary should you ever run out of ammo. The next weapon is the Brute Spiker. This weapon has been given the unique property that players that are hit by the spiker will be stunned, meaning that their turning speed and movement speed is temporarily decreased. The spiker also has 33% more melee range than the other weapons in the game. The next weapon is the DMR. This weapon now only has 12 shots per reload, it has absolutely no spread, it kills in 4 shots to the head and 6 shots to the body, and unlike the pistol this weapon is still hit scan, which establishes its role as a mid-range support rifle. Another unique trait is that shooting someone twice with the DMR and once with the pistol will kill them, which makes it a great weapon to assist your teammates. Moving forward we have the Plasma Pistol. The Plasma Pistol now has absolutely no spread while shooting, it charges twice as fast and holding a charged shot will not cost you any ammo, so you can just hold it forever. The strength of the tracking of the overcharged shot has been decreased by 50%, which means you actually have to aim to hit your opponent now. A unique trait of the overcharged shot is that now the splash, while doing less damage, will cause knockback. Another weapon that has been changed drastically is the Needler. The Needler now fires in 3-round bursts. Needles now not only stick to enemies, but to any kind of map geometry. These needles will explode after half a second and cause a medium amount of splash damage. If you manage to hit your opponent with the entire 3-round burst, the needles will explode after half a second and kill them. Also, the tracking of the Needler has been entirely removed. The biggest change to the sniper rifle wasn't the change in the weapon itself, but the fact that aim assist has been lowered and the players move faster. This weapon is now much more challenging to use. As for the weapon itself, it now fires 25% faster, and the scope magnification has been changed to a 2x and 8x scope. Also, players will no longer flinch when they're getting shot by a sniper rifle. The shotgun only saw one change, and that was that its range was increased by 33%. The new one-hit kill range is somewhere close to 6.5 meters. The brute focus rifle is a completely new weapon in this mod, and it functions much like a railgun or laser would. The weapon first has to be charged for 0.8 seconds and then kills in one shot. It overheats after every shot, and it comes with 5 shots per battery. This weapon is hit scan and comes equipped with a 1.5 times zoom. Against overshields, one shot of the railgun will take off all the player's shields, and if you land a headshot it will kill in one shot. The focus rifle now functions more like a sentinel beam. Its damage has been doubled, and it burns through ammo 4 times as fast, so you can only shoot for 5 seconds total instead of 20. The focus rifle now only has a 2x scope, and its maximum range is capped at 40 meters. Additionally, the focus rifle knocked back players who are in the air. And finally, the annoying flare when getting shot by a focus rifle has been removed. The concussion rifle has seen a lot of changes. First of all, the damage has been increased, so now it kills in 2 direct hits instead of 3. It can also kill in 5 indirect hits. The knockback when getting shot by the concussion rifle has been increased, so players can launch themselves or enemies off the map. Also, the concussion rifle grenades are no longer affected by gravity and fly in a straight path instead. The crosshair has been adjusted to reflect that change. One last change is that the concussion rifle now uses battery instead of a magazine, so it never has to be reloaded. The grenade launcher has also seen a lot of changes. First of all, the firing arc has been slightly adjusted so grenades will experience more gravity. They should also not bounce as much on the floor. The primary fire explosion has been buffed and now should always kill in one hit if you're close enough. And lastly, the damage radius of the held shot and EMP have been adjusted so it should give more consistent results now. The last weapon is the rocket launcher. It remains mostly unchanged and functions just like you know from the base game. Moving on, we have the power-ups. There are 3 power-ups in this mod. First of all, the active camo, which now lasts 45 seconds. Next, the overshield, which gives you 2 additional layers of overshields with 2 seconds of invulnerability. And lastly, the custom power-up, which only gives you 1 layer and can be burned. Grenades have also seen a few changes, especially the frag grenades. First of all, the detonation timer now starts when the grenade comes to a rest instead of after bouncing. Also, grenades no longer get stuck in grass, mud and water, but will always bounce consistently no matter the material. Next, the knockback of grenades has been increased, which makes grenade jumping more of a strategy. You can no longer cause grenades to explode by shooting them on the floor. Exploding grenades will also not cause other grenades lying on the floor to explode. And lastly, the damage at the edge of the frag grenade radius has been increased. A grenade will always make players one shot now within its blast radius. Plasma grenades perform exactly the same as in the base game, but just like the frags, you can no longer explode them by shooting them. Now that we have covered all the weapons and power-ups, let's talk about the timers. All weapons in the loadout category respawn 15 seconds after they're picked up from the map. All weapons in the tier 2 category respawn 30 seconds after they were picked up. All power weapons respawn every 90 seconds and they do so on a static timer. The exception to this is the rocket launcher, which respawns every 120 seconds. All power-ups respawn 60 seconds after they were last picked up. There are a few more changes that have not been mentioned yet that you might have noticed. All weapons have had the view models adjusted to work better on PC with center crosshair. Weapons will no longer take up half your screen when using center crosshair. Bloom has been completely removed from all precision weapons. Also, all weapons besides the sniper rifle and the grenade launcher have had their crosshair adjusted, as you can see on screen right now. The oddball doesn't roll as much on the floor. Forged pieces now don't have any light and reflections on them, which improves visuals and should also help with performance. The jetpack and gravity lifts don't make as much noise as before. The colors of the red and blue Spartans have been adjusted. This should help with visibility, especially on maps like Salad and Penance. If you made it all the way here in the video, then I would like to thank you so much for watching. In case you are interested in playing this mod, there will be links in the description with instructions to download it. To get involved in play sessions and discussion on the mod, feel free to check out the Discord, which will also be linked in the description. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.